Sorry for the inconvenience, cause guys, that the video is earlier works well. That the sound is not there. Um, the reason I'm here to show the video to give you more visualization of artificial intelligence. But as look at this slide, the university course enrollment in AI and machine learning is increasing all over the world. So we can't escape, we can't run away from these two territory. This is a reality that as a student or as an employee, that every human works in the corporate, even those who are attached to the technology, they have to learn AI and machine learning. What is the important elements? Okay, experts predict that by 2020, 85% of all customer service interaction will be handled without need of human agent. So what I would like to emphasize here, so artificial intelligence is not that new. If you ask me, it's almost the decade about 1956 is almost they found, and then there's a limited volume data, and there's a very slow process. But now at the current stage, we need machine learning incorporated with artificial intelligence, because the amount of digital data we have is is huge volume. So we need to implement machine learning together with the AI, artificial intelligence. So at the moment, all the works in the industry, if you take industry 4.0, all the jobs will be taken over by the robots, even other machines, intelligent machines. So this will be the fact out there, right? So as a graduates, as a students, we need to cope up, we need to adapt. What is the important aspect to be in the family of AI and machine learning? So I would recommend that we need to be up to date about the programming languages like a C, C++, Java, Python. So these are the back-end languages that will be helpful for you to go further with what the requirement from industry. Okay, according to the World Economic Forum, 75 million jobs will be obsolete by the year 2020. So I hope you guys understand that the explanation I gave you all about the fact about AI and machine learning just now. Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay, let me continue. All right. Okay, look at, if you can see these slides, all of you can see, right? All right. Okay, there is a three terms that every experts they should know, but there's a three artificial intelligence. So we call the first one is artificial narrow intelligence, which is what I can say is a narrow, always is a one way of transmission. So if you look at that, the concept, any job or task performed by the computer, the intelligent machine, it could be is a one direction way. So probably the example over there is a crawling web page or playing chess. So this is under narrow intelligence. So whatever requirements comes under the narrow intelligence, the requirement should be to be one side direction. And the second one is artificial general intelligence. It's kind of more emphasized on the problem solution, right? So machine with the ability to apply intelligent problems. Probably I would say if we have smart homes, smart cities at the moment, so probably in IoT we nicely merge with artificial intelligence, the concept, and then we can solve the manual transmission towards the auto transmission. So it's kind of general intelligent aspects, right? So many things like a human can take many ways to come up with a solution. So third one will be super intelligent. Super intelligent, I would say, is like driverless, no driverless car. That means self-drive car. We have guided neurosurgery, that the robot can do the surgery. It's kind of beyond the line. So it's kind of intellect that is much smarter than best human brain, practically every field, including scientific creativity, any social skills, or any economic side, or anything we can talk about. Super intelligent, that means beyond the line. I mean, I'm talking about the super intelligent that we can come out with that. So, for example, driving self-drive car. Even we can talk about biodiversity, economy, fuel and oil consumption, what do you call it, the petroleum side, and we have so many things we can talk about that. It's under super intelligence. Kind of it's much beyond the line, right? And there's a one more video I'd like to share, but I'm not sure whether the sound is working or not, but I'll keep it. Later you can have the slide and then you can check the future of artificial intelligence, what are the trends, Okay, Under these slides, okay, we have on your left, they have a lot of industry, and you have what you call services offered by the employment. The one of the things like a consumer, entertainment, retail, and we have a transportation, enterprise, oil and gas, industry, military, medical, and healthcare, so and so. But on your left, you call is device based. What are each industry, each services they request, what high volume of technology they require for the particular services. So example, if we go for transportation, they have autonomous vehicle, so there's a lot of changes, under transportation side. And even if you go to agriculture, field drone, drone will be the important aspect in agriculture at the moment. So now we see that a lot of what do you call that what do you call that we can monitor the growth of the we can manage to help the farmers to look into it, what are the specification, the longitude, longitude, and then even the everything can monitor by the drone, even robot, and then and the fields of the work is more sophisticated. And if you go for industry and military side, we have a robots, cobots, and UAV. Okay, unmanned and what you call aerial vehicle is kind of you monitor all the what you call military aircraft, and then you manage all the weapons industry. All be managed by the particular machine, or we call the intelligent machines, right? Even if you move on to the medical side, healthcare, we have super duper artificial intelligence at the moment, like a robot. They're doing a surgery. There's no what do you call specialist surgeon, no need to be around there, and all be handled by these robots. And even have patient record administration will be handled by the artificial based on the what do you call the application. It kind of you minimize all the workloads, and then you big data is kind of another important aspect in the medical side. Patient, we are dealing with the patient data, right? And you move on to the hybrid solution. What are the personal secretary, transportation, cyber security, and climate? So where are you going to bring the device to the hybrid solution? What are the solution you can bring it? So each industry, each service, if you see, look into it, example, enterprise of the cyber security is kind of a tremendous improvement on the enterprise solution. The example, unauthorized access, authentication part, and then even move on to the oil and gas. We have a climate, water and energy flow control. Everything will be censored by IoT side. Medical analysis part. We no need to depend on the radiograph first. We not depend, but the workload from the radiographer will be minimized, because all the CT and the MRI data will be encoded in the DICOM, and then it will bring it to the med lab, and then we can process the data, and then we can give it to the surgeons to look into it, whether they go for surgery or non-surgery. So there's a lot of aspect if you look into it, where the device-based hybrid solution and the cloud option, where you're going to be retrieve and send over the data. So data is kind of an important aspect. If you talk about everything, AI, IoT, everything, any technology, but data is a core. You have to be play around, give a direction to the data. What are the volumes? What are the limitation? What are the rules? Particular services or industry they request, right? Move on to the AI subfield of computer science and study intelligence system. I would always remember this artificial intelligence. Put terms called umbrella. It's a family umbrella. Under umbrella, there will be computer science, and there will be artificial, what do you call the machine learning. With subset of AI is a machine learning, and subset of machine learning we call deep learning. And neural network, under subset of neural network comes a deep learning. So everything is like one family, it's umbrella branch, right? So AI, we work always rule based, but machine learning, now we're going to talk about a little bit on the machine learning side. If you look in the slide, there's a lot of studies under the AI, but I just want to touch about machine learning. But probably we have a chance to meet up again. I will talk about more advanced level about other aspects, even the machine learning technical side. But if you look into machine learning, there's a video as well, but you can watch later. But machine learning, I'll put it as a simple terms that we call
do you want to try
data
playing,
machine.
Tatchanaa, you want to just try playing it to see whether it works? Yeah, just click on it. If it doesn't, then
close your eyes and picture a shoe. Okay, did anyone picture this? This? How about this? We may not even know why, but each of us is biased toward one shoe over the others. Now imagine that you're trying to teach a computer to recognize a shoe. You may end up exposing it to your own bias. That's how bias happens in machine learning. But first, what is machine learning? Well, it's used in a lot of technology we use today. Machine learning helps us get from place to place, gives us suggestions, translates stuff, even understands what you say to it. How does it work? With traditional programming, people hand code the solution to a problem, step by step. With machine learning, computers learn the solution by finding patterns in data. So it's easy to think there's no human bias in that. But just because something is based on data doesn't automatically make it neutral. Even with good intentions, it's impossible to separate ourselves from our own human biases. So our human biases become part of the technology we create in many different ways. There's interaction bias. Like this recent game, people were asked to draw shoes for the computer. Most people drew ones like this. So as more people interacted with the game, the computer didn't even recognize these. Latent bias. For example, if you're training a computer on what a physicist looks like, and you're using pictures of black physicists, your algorithm will end up with a latent bias, skewing towards men. And selection bias. Say you're training a model to recognize faces. Whether you grab images from the internet or your own photo library, are you making sure to select photos that represent everyone? Since some of our most advanced products use machine learning, we've been working to prevent that technology from perpetuating negative human bias. From tackling offensive or clearly misleading information from appearing at the top of your search results page, to adding a feedback tool on the search bar so people can flag hateful or inappropriate autocomplete suggestions. It's a complex issue and there's no magic bullet, but it starts with all of us being aware of it so we can all be part of the conversation. Because technology should work for everyone.
Alright, hope you guys get some picture what is machine learning. I just want to keep run through as fast as I can. As if you look into it, machine learning, if you compare to AI and machine learning, it's got a little bit a bit not same, a bit of far. As I say, artificial intelligence, they always travel with the rule of phases, right? And under the artificial intelligence, there's a reason we approach machine learning, because kind of kind of we bring back 1950s, 60s one, the volume of data is very limited. Okay, the very what do you call, very minimal. Okay, but now we have to move on to digitalization data. So we have a bunch of data. So we have to implement machine learning. Like, it's not data going to be played with the rules of traditional. It's a computer itself. We give a bunch of data to the computer to play, to program itself. How are we going to monitor? How are we going to be encapsulate? How are we going to classify? How are we going to segmentize based on the case given? Right? So it nicely you can travel with every industry, even the healthcare, agriculture, oil and gas, transportation, every industry they can nicely merge with the machine learning together with the AI, artificial intelligence and phases. Right? So behind the story is always the programming is there. So I would recommend that for machine learning, it's always we have worked with C++, C# and Python. It's a very good programming to work well with the machine learning. If I want to talk about machine learning, probably if I get a chance, I'll talk to you all more advanced level in machine learning for the next session. Okay, so as a point you have to look into it. Machine learning works as the data given to the computer to program itself. What are the rules of thumb, protocols they need to do, and what are the limitations, what are the challenges, what are the success, what are the theory they can follow the computer itself.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a two aspect. If you look into it, the diagram, this is called machine learning. Okay, if you look into machine learning, there's always I think most of us know that always when we play with the IT, there's always the input materials, input information, input data or something. So we input data, and once you input the data, any data you call about medical data, transportation, that's why I'm talking always bringing the industry together with you all. So if you put industry input data, and then we will use the feature extraction. If you put it a car data inside, so the feature extraction will be car name, car model, car images, for everything in specific. They will display and put it as a cluster feature extraction, and then they nicely move on to the classification side. Okay, the classification will play machine learning using it be technical. Machine learning, we try to use support vector machine classification as algorithm. We have a top 10 machine learning algorithm like as SVM, that what you call the K cluster, and then K nearest. So we have a lot of algorithm and play with the machine learning. But one of the SVM is a kind of support vector machine where you classify the car data into it. What are the years of the car, 1950 to 1960 you can split, 1970 to 1980 you can split, and what are the colors, what are the body part, what are the what do you call them, the metals, everything you can classify based on the features. And then you move on to the car. That means what are the output will be, what are the industry need, what are the specification from the process classification, and the deliverable will be the production side output. If you go further with the deep learning, it's kind of not I would say it's same, but it's extendable of machine learning. I would say it's a subset of machine learning. We have an input, but the feature extraction and the classification will work closely, because deep learning always is hidden layers. So many layers are hidden there. So we have to do a lot of our algorithm part to split it, to classify the layers to more in a general ways, and then the outcome will be there. But I would like to talk to you on the deep learning and machine learning more advanced in the next session if you have that chance to talk to you on. Okay, this is called machine learning, how the process closely work with artificial intelligence. Okay, if you look into it in machine learning, they have three important elements. This is the important what do you call the colleagues. Okay, one we call the supervised, and we have unsupervised and reinforcement. If you look into supervised, is normally is a label data. That means it's nicely labeled. Example, we talk about the car data earlier. So we label the data. Okay, this is the A1, A2, A3, and the direct feedback from the process, and then predict outcome whether the car is a 1950 to 1960 or 1970 to 1980. So prediction outcome will be clear, supervised. Unsupervised is kind of no labels, no feedback, hidden structures. So we have to look into it everything. So if you put all the data into it on the map, on the surface, just now I think if you look at the video, there's a lot of blue shoes. There will be one or two shoes in the red color. These are the part is unsupervised. So we have to take up the red color and put it on side. So these are ways you can play with it. I think data, it could be a core. You have a bunch of data and a bunch of industry, and they can work with different data. As example, hospital, and even industry, or also defense, oil and military, everything. Different industries, they have a different data. But reinforcement side is different. We have a decision process, reward system, learn series of action. This kind of more intelligence, what you call machine learning. Probably you can make a decision quickly. You can look into it, the process, whether the process can more extendable to another dimension. So these are the process you can look into under reinforcement. But these are the machine learning algorithm. If you look in the slide, I think all of you can see. So these are the machine learning's the specification. If you look at the machine learning, they have unsupervised, supervised, and regression clustering. So each segment, they have algorithm be assigned for them. So example, if you look into unsupervised learning, they have a clustering, recommended system, target marketing, and customer segmentation. And we have supervised learning, we have a regression. I think if I talk about it, it will take time. But if you look into it, they have every machine learning extendable, the algorithm side, they have a lot of cases identified. Whether if you look at the on top classification, see, if you use the classification method, you can classify the image classification, identify the fraud detection. Example, if you are expert on the text recognition, you can easily identify whether the signature is proven or is not proven. That means it's from the authorized person or it's unauthorized person. So you easily can identify that. And of a diagnosis side, as I mentioned earlier, if the patient is a cancer patient, we can easily identify whether it's a tumor patient or it's a non-tumor patient with the use of machine learning algorithm, with the use of a CT MRI data. So this has a lot of industry will nicely merge with the machine learning. It's and then they have a protocol, they have a specification to look into it as well. So how the process, the standard move on to the phase A, phase B, phase C, move on there. So I'll leave it here, these slides, and you can have a look, and you can ask me any question about under the machine learning algorithm. Okay, this is, I think most of you know. Yeah.
Yes.
It's good for if you can read up for me, because I'm on the slides. Okay, yeah, please. What's the question?
How to avoid human negative bias?
Human negative. I cannot understand the question. Human negative.
Human negative bias. BIAS bias.
Human negative bias in terms of in what terms they looking into it. Is it whether on the what do you call that? Is it on the technology side, or is it how, or do you ask me, they ask me whether how to identify, or which segment they, because if you want to avoid the negative bias kind of things, it depends on situation given. uh, Probably the code we are using, the programming tools we are using should be more relevant to the particular platform, and it's not be negative and biased, or because the question is not really clear to me. If I'm was wrong, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's more related to just now the slide there, the video.
The video that you showed.
Yeah.
Because
The
it said the last video that you showed had like how they were trying to avoid human bias. So that's and it's by training the machine learning.
If you, it's like kind of if you have a proper what do you call that, tools or programming and background, or the knowledge, and even you have a solid background on the coding part, even you understand the what do you call situation about the platform, about the what do you call the data you are playing with it, and what are the architecture. So it would be any what do you call any won't happen any errors from the side of the user side or developer side. So I think, am I clear with that? I think I would say this, you have to be understand more clearly about the tools and the programming. Then will be, because you're playing with the machine learning, it could be it's more understandable, because you have to be more clear what tools and what behind backend programming you're using, and based on that, what data you're using is actually particular service department. It's be more understandable. Then will be what all the what you call the minimize errors and kind of things. Okay, if you look into it, this slide, AlphaGo, I think most of us got this, and some of you knew. AlphaGo is kind of 19 times 19. It's a scoring board game. Kind of that is implemented 2015. Okay, I just want to share on this particular artificial intelligence theory behind this game. If you look into my explanation down there, I just bolded in the reinforcement learning. So if you look into it earlier, we have a three: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. So on this particular idea or technology they implemented, I think reinforcement learning is proven, and the author about the expert from the particular journals, they came up with that this whole technology behind the AlphaGo is supported by the reinforcement learning. So it's just nice for us to learn more, understand all the three types of component under machine learning, right? So supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. So they will be play a major role for every data you or technology or prototype you are coming up. It's kind of very important tools for you to to travel, to adapt with these three components. So I just want to share how just now the reinforcement, and they proven that reinforcement learning is already implement under the AlphaGo, right? Okay, if you look into it, this diagram is kind of the transmission from the 1950 until the 2019. Artificial intelligence is kind of engineering or making intelligent machine and program, and then more on slowly the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. I mean, it's all coded by the program itself, the computer, right? Machine learning. And now move on to everyone talk about deep learning. So learning based deep. So it's more inner study about the data, especially if you are playing with the deep learning. It's kind of a more complex data. Example, it's kind of like a weather forecasting and budgeting, even shares, banking, financial side. Kind of it's a kind of more supportive methods to use the deep learning. Right? Okay, this is a video we have that next generation. What are the next generations AI? You know? Yeah. as a simple sharing session. So more on to this part under as a few couple of application areas under artificial intelligence. This AI application in Korea. Okay, they have a dozen robot service system. I think some of you heard before. It's kind of a device that is a device that they implemented under in the conference hall, exhibitions, in the meeting rooms, that they will come up, they will produce this what do you call the many devices, kind of a dozen robot to many different functions, or even what do you call that, as I said, as example, that exhibition or museum centers. So they put it in front of the hall, so the robots can take you to the virtual tour and explain everything. So it's kind of interesting that some of you know, some of you don't know about that. It's kind of AI application in Korea, those and robot service system. So explain everything. Even the students come from school, they go for science what do you call, science museums and science workshop. So there will be robots there, the projects and the concept of the workshop. And this is another one, Samsung AI platform Bixby, that most of us know that. On March 20th, Samsung announced a voice-powered digital assistant named Bixby. That is, it will be powered by the voice powered digital and acts a controlling platform for users, connected device ecosystem. Example, they can use in the phone, through the phone, TV, even home appliances to make smart home. I think most of us know that IoT is another trend. So it's not another; it's also almost there in the field. But I think some of you know, some of you don't know. IoE is already the Internet of everything. So no more Internet things, is Internet everything. So IoE is there. So probably Bixby will be closely work together with the sensor, and the artificial intelligence is kind of the interfaces, how you react to the rules of the object. So this is another one I'd like to share with you all. And based on the job scope, as I mentioned, if I graduates or if you are college students, this is the top 10 emerging jobs will be there in the future, in the current trend and even in the future. So data analysts, AI, machine learning is the second, almost there. General and operation managers, software and application developers, sales and marketing, big data, digital, new organization, information technology services. So these are the top 10 emerging. This comes from World Economic Forum, so I think we have to believe it on that. Okay, but the top 10 decline, if you look at the top 10 disabled one, it's all the general works take over by the machine or the application or by the robots. So kind of that in another 20 years time or 10 years time, the top 10 emerging job also will be taken over by the robots, but I don't know, just finger crossed. But normally I believe that always human act as a powerful tools to monitor the robots. So I will always depend on the 50-50. It cannot be 100% take over by the robots. Right? And this is a big data video. What is actually big data?
The time of spreadsheets is over. A Google search, a passport scan, a barcode reading in a supermarket, your online shopping history, an EKG reading, CCTV footage, a photo of a sandwich, a voice message, a tweet. All of these contain data that can be collected, analyzed, and monetized. Supercomputers and algorithms allow us to make sense of increasingly larger amounts of information in real time. In less than 10 years, CPUs are expected to reach the processing power of the human brain. A survey done by the Global Agenda Council on the Future of Software and Society shows that people expect artificial intelligence machines to be part of a company's board of directors by 2016. There is a good chance that in 15 years, your job is going to be performed by computers, since decisions once based on experience and intuition will be made through machine analysis of massive amounts of data. Think about a vehicle that is able to read its environment and react accordingly, much like a human driver, but also analyzing other sources of information that will make the trip safer, faster, and more efficient. Analyzing vast amounts of medical data from different locations and demographics will allow to determine which conditions improve the effectiveness of certain treatments and which don't. Big data analysis will reveal patterns and connections that will vastly improve most human activities. But it will also create very detailed profiles for all of us, including information that we'd rather keep private.
Will big data make privacy obsolete? Or will it bring transparency, accountability, and progress?
Okay. So will be under for big data. It's again, it's kind of transmission to every industry, because every industry they have digital data. As I mentioned earlier, we have a bunch of digital data. So in order to monitor the data, we have to use machine learning. So it's not only kind of machine learning. We have a different kind of other algorithm that we can help machine learning. Example, Python. It's a kind of very hot programming tools that every graduates, and now they are doing Python, because we do the better focus, even the media data, media channels data, even I mentioned it's a bank financial transaction. I came out. One is the tweet. What is a new skill can be developed with the augmented reality in the educational context? So augmented reality, I think some of you augmented reality is kind of a virtual, right? Augmented is a kind of virtual reality, and how you see the object beyond the object, kind of interesting 3D evaluation, 3D and objects are involved in augmented reality. So how you look into augmented reality in the educational context, so how you need, whether you want the traditional classroom or you want augmented reality technology will be in the class. As a probably example, if you no need to be the whiteboard there, it will be empty. So once you are there, you use a virtual virtual reality or the glass you wear, and you can look into the whiteboard. Kind of the interesting idea you can come out. You can tweet it to hashtag future begin at Unimi one. And there's another one I would like to ask you to think, and we can share it later. And this will be the next smartphone, and how many function of your smartphone will be implemented. If you are giving the what do you call that class of not a class of that, it's kind of a mini chips will be embedded in your eyes, right? In the mini chips is kind of a mini phone, kind of a mini phone. What are the function you can if you want to see in the future smartphone, in the kind of small chips inside your, if you embed it into the eyes. Okay, this is another one. But I would like to ask now all of you to go to Ask Participant Open, join myquiz.com and enter this code, and you can answer the 12 questions over there. You can answer, and then we can check assess later. So if you any questions on the artificial intelligence, machine learning about today's session, what do you call it? Again, I would like to emphasize on that. This is a kind of what do you call that? It's an opening door for some of you. What is actually AI and what is machine learning? And some of you heard before. But those who are very new, this is a eye open, and then it's a kind of very interesting field for you to explore. And you like it or not, because if you are student, IT student, computer science, job engineering, you can't escape from these particular technologies, because the world needs this technology. So you can't skip this particular technology. So in order to learn more, your programming tools have to be perfect, must be in a good fundamental level, at least C++, C#, Python, Java, any programming tools that will cope with the technology. Okay, for that, I think I will end up here.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a tweet, and then after the tweet, there's a smartphone. Okay, and the next smartphone there will be this quiz. Have to answer now. Example, join my quiz, and then you can enter this code, and then there will be 12 questions.
Can we do that right now? Who wants to participate? Please go ahead to joinmyquiz.com and enter the code 009892, and we will reward the top 3 quiz winners. Can you guys see the screen?
All of you?
Hello?
Yes, you want to that?
It's joinmyquiz.com, join myquiz.com, and enter the code 009892. All the questions are based on the presentation today by Tatchanaa, and we will reward the top 3 winners. Everyone
Any
got that?
questions?
Any questions? Any other questions besides the quiz? Thank you, Leong, for your feedback. Thank you, Minion, Kevin, and Danish. Sorry if that's their name. So join the quiz, and then we will get the top 3 winners and send the prizes to you. For those that didn't fill out the feedback form, please go ahead and fill out the feedback form. We will also send you the career booklet and student lifestyle booklet to you with Zalora vouchers. Okay, Mark has a question, Tatchanaa.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you
If
see
you
it?
want to predict weekly sales, okay, what type of learning algorithm do we use? Okay, supervised, unsupervised, or okay, wait, can I see that? Okay, predict weekly sales. What type of learning algorithm do we use? Supervised, unsupervised, or you can use reinforced. That's my suggestion, because it's a weekly sales that you can make a decisions whether that predict whether your weekly income will be extendable to the another 2 weeks time or in a month time. So I would suggest reinforce always, as I mentioned to you, the explanation I gave you. Reinforce always is a predict. You can change, you can make a decision, and you can you can change the value of the transformation. So I would say it's kind of your weekly business. So probably you need more more sales. So probably it's not relevant to use supervised. Supervised is a label. You know what is the actual label, and unsupervised is a no label. So this is a business. You can't predict your sales in a week time due to the economic now. So I would say reinforce is a kind of very good learning algorithm for particular your case you asked just now, Mark. Am I clear, Mark? It's a very good question, Mark, that you analyze. You can nicely label it where you can mesh the concept of your business. This is a very good thought. So this is the way you're thinking. You move forward, how you can to extend your your own business, even your own your way of thinking of towards technology, how you want to look into it. It's a way how you look into it. The data itself or the technology itself is how you look into it, and which platform, which case given situation services, and then last but not least we look into it, at what department they're expecting. That is most important. I would suggest there's 2 different teams always. There's always a background of artificial intelligence, and there's always a middle, kind of there are many websites on this. Which one should I need to click? Should I answer the questions for the minion asking something? And I think if you click then enter the code, it comes to my. Okay.
Yeah, any other website that they can get more information about AI or machine learning? Any particular video or something?
Yeah, I can share with with you if you want it.
Yeah.
There's
Put it on your screen if you want.
there's always a particular. You can go to for machine learning.
Danish is asking, is there any recommendations of any other topics we should look into?
Okay, let me answer the first one.
Okay.
For machine learning, because there's a 2 author, I guess this author is a more he had a lot of international journal, so they can look into this author's publication or even slideshows, even books, e-books, everything under machine learning. For this, for artificial, for AI, they can look into it. I will give them the best one, because normally they have a
What's the question that people always ask you about artificial intelligence and machine learning? What's the most common question?
Okay, the most common questions they ask about AI actually, what is actually AI and what is actually ML, machine learning, because they can't differentiate and they don't know how to hit, intuit about intuit the particular technology. So I would recommend they have to go to the particular example machine learning, as I mentioned in the text box. Arthur Samuel. Arthur Samuel is a founder of the machine learning. He came out a lot of publication in the PowerPoint slide. So to many tools on the net. So I would recommend. I would suggest to everyone, those who are every frequently ask me what is AI, what is ML. So I will ask them to go look into it, and if they have some difficult or problems to understand, they can come up with me. They can drop email to me, and what is actually if they can't understand any fact or any particular case given a situation can't understand, so they can drop email. For AI as well, AI actually is a kind of, as I say, it's a parent, it's an umbrella, it's a big, huge territory. So they don't know where to study. So the first, I would recommend everybody AI go and look into what are the software it useful for AI, and then at the same time for AI they can look into it AI publications. Okay, under Science Direct. Okay, AI public under Science Direct. If you read a lot of AI publication under Science Direct and they keep up to date themselves, it's useful for them to think like what the Mark just now asked me. So they can think about in a different what will happen, a complex situation, even what will happen if the phase A went wrong, phase B went wrong, what will happen. That it will be one. Okay, there's a machine learning and AI. Look into the software testing and software testing website. They have a top 10 softwares and they can explain everything. Even for publication, if they want ebooks or something, they can go to Science Direct. And I have a few materials, but I can't think right now. I can drop later. If you can send forward to them. This is a common question they normally ask: what is actually AI, what is ML? So I don't know how to start. But for me, I would recommend to everybody the basic fundamental in order to go into it. As I explained, advised you earlier, your programming techniques have to be important. The basic, at least the basic about C++, C sharp, Python, or whatever the programming language you are into it, because you can't run it AI and machine learning without the programming language. It's just a dummy. You can come out with a prototype, you can come out with the what do you call this, the sketch, even your idea, but it can't be implement if you don't know, if you can't implement your programming properly. Okay, so I would suggest everybody, I don't know how their status, but some of you are good in the programming. It's good start. If you are good in the programming, it's good start to go further on the which part you're interested. For example, some of them they're good in the C++ or C sharp, but I want to my interest on more on medical, so I want to play around with the medical data. Yeah, go ahead. So you can use the C++, C sharp, include the medical data to how they are, they operate from the DICOM, CT, MRI images, how they operate. Or if it's some of them they interested on the cybersecurity side. So cybersecurity is kind of very very solid, authentication side. Is kind of a very encryption. A lot of people talks about the fraud kind of thing. So you can try to implement what the best algorithm under the cybersecurity side. You have to look into it. What are the best programming language? Probably I heard before cybersecurity. Most of them they implement a basic, C sharp itself is enough. Or some of them will say, I want to go on the multimedia side. So multimedia, you can use a Java. So each as I mentioned earlier, I will always travel with the service department, the industry, because we have to closely work with the industry, what they expect, what the request from them, what are the demand from them. So it's just nice for you all to to understand, to make sure I understand the company's need, and then you have to get ready to work together with the industry. So in order to work with industry, your background, your solid, your programming tools have to be very programming language have to be solid at least you know how to do the programming. So it could be any types of programming. You don't need to be, there's no specific programming. It's depend on your interest. If you're a student, you have to fulfill your education, your grading. You have to fulfill your diploma, degree, whatever. So you have to fulfill that. But as a human, everyone, they have a special interest on programming. So you can look some additional resources in the online, and then you can learn extra. Example, so I'm very good and I want to learn more on Java. Go ahead, get more advanced level of Java, get into it, do some exercises, do some lot of application, and then you'll be you into it. Where you are, you can achieve your your goals.
Okay, has everyone finished the game? The quiz earlier that we had sent out the code to join the quiz.
Okay, Danish asked me, is there any recommendation of topic that we should look into it? Danish, I think a recommendation other topics, probably we can look into it. Deep learning. Deep learning is very demand on the deep learning. If you look into technology side, AI is there. IoT. If you look into technology, IoT, you can look into IoT side, and even cyber security, and we have a cloud computing. These are the area that you can look into. But if you want more on technical side, example, more on programming, as I mentioned to you, that we have a couple of programming which is demand. There's need by the industry out there. So you can, choice is yours. You can choose any particular algorithm or programming tools, then you can go ahead. But topics, as I mentioned, apart from AI and machine learning, you can go for deep learning. We have what do we call that? Other territory, we call that, as I mentioned, IoT. There's a demanding as well, IoE as well, in the big data, cloud computing, and even if you're a business student, you can look into business analytics side. How you analyze the business model. Data mapping, data clustering, and even how you using a SPSS software for business industry. So these are things you look into it. But choice is yours. I leave it to you, Danish. Which one you are? It's always depend on the user. If they are very interested and comfortable with that topic, then go ahead. But remember that if you're IT and computer science software engineering, so you can't escape from the programming. You have to adapt, and you have to be major on that. All right.
Hi. Any other questions? Are you guys all done with the quiz?
I am.
Okay. Anyone still doing the quiz?
It was so for me.
So. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it easy or tough?
It's easy or tough, yeah. It's like half and half. Half easy, half tough.
Yeah. Basically, that's how I can summarize it.
Okay, so I hope everyone's done with the quiz. We'll give you another 5 minutes. But as of now, is there any other questions for Tatchanaa that you would like answer? Please check out also.
Okay. The student asking example apps you can try for AI. Okay, it's not. You have a lot of AI apps. For example, you have a simulator, flight simulator, email filtering system using AI. It's a lot of AI software out there. But as most of AI software is a commercialized one. But if you want to try a simple one, I think you can go for these are things you can type as a flight simulator example using AI. Okay, so if you have these are the way you can look into it, non-licensed AI apps. So I think you have they will give you I think many non-licensed AI apps that is not commercialized yet, but you can try as a they can ask you which category groups you are, is a student or you are graduates or what. So you can try as I say flight simulator one, or you can build your own smart city apps, AI apps is also there. So I think it's a lot, but you can type in the Google non-licensed AI apps, and then you can check whether anything related to you, and then you can start to use. But it's I really welcome all of you. You can drop your questions to my email. You need my email, so I can able to assist you. Because I always love to give you some guidance and right path to get into it, or in what is AI and machine learning. Right. Any questions, you can drop my email.
Okay. Can I ask one question, Tatchana?
Yeah, please go ahead.
What is a Turing test?
Huh?
Turing, Turing.
Yeah, Turing test is kind of it's the founder of the, I think it's a German guy, came out with the Turing test to check whether they compare whether the machines, the test, the machine can work, they can act as a human, as a human or not. So there's a Turing test that used before in a couple of 1956 time. So it's kind of a prediction whether the test is the machine or the idea is it can match closely with the human's brain or human idea. Kind of this Turing test.